Do you have brittle, frail bones as well?
It's only that you don't hear that question much. Yes.
Yay!
I've got
Not too hard. We might crack something. Hi, welcome back to Interesting and Sexy, a podcast dedicated to spreading the awareness and visibility of intersex people, as well as discussing issues/experiences about queer life, being different, and all other things interesting and sexy. Thanks for tuning in again. I know it's been a while since I've had a podcast, but today we've got our second ever in-person interview, and it is with my dear friend, Max. Say hello.
Hello.
Say it in this camera. How are you going?
I'm good.
Thank you for coming on.
That's right.
Max and I are actually quite good friends, so it's going to be Max telling you their story, and I'm just going to be bearing witness and then asking questions and stuff like this because we already know each other, but we'll get to know each other even more.
Cool.
So, Max, first question is, I always ask this: who is Max? What is Max about? And how do you identify?
Who is Max? Trying to put my head around that question. Mm-hmm. And when you sent me the questions, I was like, maybe that just means age.
Yeah, it's whatever you want.
want.
It's whatever you want, whatever it means to you.
I'm 30. I'm from Canberra. Yeah. I'm a musician. I guess we'll get into all that. Mm-hmm. What was the other question?
How do you identify?
How do I identify? Non-binary, trans, femme leaning.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And do you want to just go in and give us your life story pretty much? I mean, it can be your intersex journey. It can just be your whole life story. How did you get to this couch?
Yeah, well, I'm from Canberra and I lived there until I was 19. So there's that section of life story. And a lot of that was, to go quickly, theatre, music, high school, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But also growing up in a really nice, bushy city, which was quite good. Once you move away from it, it's good. And then moved here when I was 19 in this big city dreams kind of naive-ish dream of I'm going to move to the big city, become a big musician, pretty much. And it was also just much more exciting than the sort of weird times happening in Canberra at that time. It was just yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then I moved here and I studied music or singing in a degree.
Awesome.
So...
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was sort of a jazz degree, which was unexpected. Before that, I did classical singing a little bit in Canberra.
Nice.
But it wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay. What didn't you like about it?
It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's a genre thing, and it wasn't what I was looking for. But it is a handy trick up your sleeve.
The classics always are. Oh!
Yeah, I can whip it out at parties.
Lovely.
But yeah, it was good to learn that. Yeah, so I moved here and then did a contemporary degree, and I was really looking back on it. I realized I was looking for just doing gigs and it being in a band and that kind of thing. But at the time, I was no, it has to be a big degree, and I have to, go hard. It's always I'm always a bit all or nothing.
Yeah, you had to go the academic route.
Yeah, that's it's got years. It's predictable a little bit.
Yes.
But after that, degree, I was a bit I'm missing something. I'm a lot better at music, but I'm missing what I was looking for, and that's sort of been found more recently, gradually. But it's a slow process. But yeah, I did that and then moved around a lot. Share house wise in Melbourne, and kind of was before I found out I was intersex, kind of in a place of like in one share house and just feeling a little bit unsure of my identity. And that is something that happened before that as well, out in Canberra. But yeah, I guess I'll get into the intersex story.
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, I was 23 and I went to a doctor for sexual pain, like unrelated, that I was getting, and I was being like, what's going on? And with that, they were like, we don't really know what your pain is. And oh no, I had some kind of random surgery before that was apparently like a blood, a vein thing. Which I can't remember where I got it, but apparently that was related to the pain. But, you know, there's a lot of, like, what's the word? Unsureness in this area, or you just feel like you're at the mercy of doctors a bit. But yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went and got tested, and they were like, yeah, we don't know what your pain is, but we want to... You look a bit weird down there. And I'd been to like different specialists before this one who had said similar things. And yeah, it was always a feeling of like being just, I guess gaslit might be the wrong word, but just that same feeling of what?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, we want to do some tests. So I did a sperm test and just came up with nothing.
Oh. Okay.
Like maybe it's Klinefelter, which is that very common.
Yes. Yeah.
XXY. And then there was no sperm at all, and it was like, what? What's going on? And then obviously that has like emotional side to it with like not being able to have kids.
Yeah.
Which I could not process at the time. It was more just like, what the hell
Yeah.
is this? And then they did a karyotype where they've discovered that it was XX. So female, technically female, kind of a modified female chromosome a bit with like one gene of the Y chromosome called the SRY gene that is a very powerful gene that like determines the direction that your body's going to go. Morphing with the X, and then that, yeah, but it typically makes like a fairly typical male body. Like there's nothing, it wasn't picked up when I was born because there was nothing that was like, oh, that's weird. It was more subtle than that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, what happened?
Does it have a name?
Yes. XX, testicular difference of sexual development.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah.
Or XX male.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
one. That's an easy one. Or De La Chapelle syndrome, just because they love to have a random name.
Yeah, they do love to have the syndromes.
Just to make it feel weirder.
Yeah, just to make it fucking weirder. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and you said it's quite rare when I first met you. Yeah.
It is. It's like 1 in 20,000, and I haven't met anyone else with it.
Still?
Still?
Oh my god, shit.
Yeah.
I thought surely, like, after this last year.
No, not even through meeting the intersex community. Like,
wow.
I don't know if it's just the word hasn't got out, but
yeah.
I tried looking on Reddit about it and found one subgroup with about 10 people in it.
Okay.
And that's the only communication I've had with someone on there who was like similar-ish, but maybe not as confused as me. They seemed to, by their writing, they were like...
Right.
I asked them, this is my situation, what's yours? And they were like, yeah, I'm on testosterone, but I don't mind the extra, like, female... but personality. I don't even know if that's right, but
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that was nice, but it still was very like. I did find someone made a T-shirt
Yeah.
about it on
What?
Google or
Yeah.
Redbubble, and it says XX male,
Oh.
a bit of both. So there's cute little snippets on the internet, but you really have to be quite hard to find anything that's not like scientific journal papers. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good that you got to at least have that little like conversation with someone. Did you like reach out to get their like contacts, or did you just keep it on Reddit?
No, they didn't really reply.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, it was more. Well, they did initially, and then afterwards, or I like introduced myself to this group.
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Didn't get much from it. So, yeah, I think someday, hopefully.
Yeah.
But there are other people around that have similar experiences. And yeah, not sure where to go from there.
So was it difficult to process?
Yes. Yeah, still in the process.
Yeah.
Because, at the time I was like, this is really weird, and feeling kind of isolated from that. Of like, people not understanding that, and I already felt sort of misunderstood, so this was like adding to it. But there was a nice element too, because it was very affirming to this sort of female side.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow, that's it.
That's what I've been
It
feeling.
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Just made sense. Like, I couldn't quite describe why. But then the processing that's still going on is the trans element of it, and like pushing through like a lot of denial and just fear around being trans, but also being the intersex side of it, and how gender works within my variation, if it does correlate or not, is there's not really any answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's just the journey that you have to
Roll with it.
figure out by yourself,
Yeah, exactly.
what's going to be the best for you.
Yeah.
So is it, just something that, so how many years ago was it that you got diagnosed, or like diagnosed?
It was 2018.
2018. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too long ago, but, it takes a while, and, I guess you'll figure it out, whatever's best for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening. The figuring out is
Yeah.
happening. I'm pretty happy with it.
And it's exciting just learning new things about like your identity, and just like being able to uncover new things. You're like, actually, I feel really comfortable when I do this, or like I feel real comfortable when people like refer to me as this, or something like that.
Absolutely. It's like exciting. What I've always liked personally is just things that are like different, and that's kind of exciting. So like maybe in my songwriting as well, like music that's a little bit weird or different. And that's what being intersex kind of felt like. It was like, oh, this is weird. And I'm the only one. And yes, it's isolating, but it's also kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, totally. I have this friend who only found out they were intersex after they had met me. And so they already knew what intersex was through me. And they called me like the day they found out, and they're like, I've just been to the hospital and they've just told me this. And I was like, oh my God, how do you feel? And they're like I'm a part of a really cool club. And I was like, I'm so glad, like better than when I found out. But yeah, it is like being in a cool club. And then you actually are in the cool club because you're in the, in the support groups, and then you go on retreats and everyone's having the best time.
Yeah, that's been kind of the next step after that. So, well, I found out I was intersex, and then like lockdown happened pretty soon after. So there was a lot of mulling to do in that time.
Oh shit.
Like, what's going on? And it wasn't the best time. It was, but there was a lot of like exploring fashion and makeup and all these sort of femme things, and just slowly going, oh, maybe I'll try this, out of this fear, sense of fear that was kind of keeping me held back a lot. But yeah, the retreats and the interlink group was the first thing.
Yeah.
And that was just like me just staring at the screen going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Other people exist.
Yeah.
And just that sense of similar experiences was so amazing feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite liberating from the like weight of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to
Sure.
just even just listen and just hear other people's and just being like, preach.
Yeah, all the different stories. And
Yeah.
how similar or different.
Yeah. And like there some can be like completely different. Like even I know you don't know too many people with the same variation, but even people with me with the same variation, like it's completely different life stories, but like there are some like similarities still. But yeah, I guess you'll find that I'm sure there will be other people that you'll meet like in the future with your exact same variation. It's just a matter of time, I think.
I think so. It's just because it's so rare that, and you probably, if you had it, you wouldn't know about it unless you were trying to have kids.
Right.
I reckon. Or the only other like indication is the slow, like my body really struggles to make testosterone.
Right.
It's got some very high pituitary hormones that are like 4 times what they should be because it's just going, make more.
Oh my God. Oh my
This,
God.
and it's like not getting the feedback that it needs, so it keeps adding more to it. And so that's kind of been the thing recently, was like going on testosterone
Yeah.
to try and help that, and then going on estrogen because so the experience of both, which I would like to talk about. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go into it?
That?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we can. I mean, yeah. So I was like interested in taking testosterone because at the retreat everyone was talking about testosterone, and then you were like, yeah, I like testosterone, like, and I was like, I want to get on testosterone, but I've just found out that's probably not going to work best for me because apparently my testes are like making shitloads of testosterone, but my body just like can't do anything with it, but it's there. And it's actually, in order to feel any sort of like benefit from having super high testosterone, now like I have too much testosterone and not enough everything else. And that's kind of what's making me feel tired. So I need to like level it out with estrogen and a little bit of progesterone. And then I'll be like a superhuman apparently. So I'm going to try that. Like, I just can't afford like to be consistent with the doctor at the moment and then get on hormones yet, but like at the end of the year I'm gonna be starting it and I'm gonna be a superhuman. But that's just me. Let's talk about your journey with the hormones.
Yep. Starting estrogen.
I'm gonna be starting estrogen, and progesterone.
And progesterone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so from, maybe I'll just talk about the retreat before doing that.
Yes, go.
So yeah, the retreat was like, so Interlink was this sort of small online thing that was amazing, but this opened it up and it was all just like, oh my God, all these intersex people in one place.
And it was in Canberra as well. What a full circle moment.
The nature element of it, because it was there was a beautiful mountain in the distance and it just felt very like comforting, like surrounded by the mountains. So that was like, again, sort of pushing the fear of my like coming out in a way, pushing against it. And it was like, no, there's this new thing that it's charging forward. From that. And that was really nice. And then I came back here and I joined a trans choir, which I'm in at the moment, which is like a peer support group. It's not a very like chill choir.
Yeah.
You're mainly just coming there to like hang out, sing a few songs, and that was for me to get out of this fear of transness, and it really has helped. So the combo of the two peer supports has been amazing.
Nice.
But the estrogen, testosterone part is that I went on testosterone because it was like a kind of a breaking point I had, like with, I think the lack of hormones or something was making me very like edgy, especially in lockdown. So the combo of that, I was like hit a point where I had a lot of sleep issues and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna try testosterone and then a CPAP machine as well, just a random extra. And the combo of the two at the time was like, I had these days of waking up the most like refreshed ever because I actually breathed in the night, and testosterone was charged like this amazing feeling of like kind of pep in your step. I don't know what it was exactly, but yeah, it was good. So I don't know, because after a while I stopped using that CPAP machine because it broke.
Right.
And so now I'm not using it. And yeah, so it's hard to tell sometimes what's doing what with the hormones.
Totally.
Or with the breath. You're just like sleep quality. But then I was on it for about a year, and it was sort of good, but it was something was not right in kind of like a spiritual way. Yeah, so then I sort of had a time where I watched like I read a comic about being trans and like kind of accepted it one night, and it was very like emotional moment. But it was from there I was like, no, I'm going to try estrogen, and it was the most urgent thing for that, and I had to sort of push through a lot of doubt, being like, no, don't do it, because with being intersex, there's like the health of your body as well. Like it's already, the hormones are all out of whack, or like not enough of things. So it's like, what's estrogen going to do? Is it going to do something else because of my chromosomes? Is it not? All these questions.
Yeah.
So I went, and then one night just before going on it, I wrote a song in this urgency, a very urgent song, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, there's a lot of lines in that song that just explain the story better than my words, which is cool. But yeah, I wrote that, and then the next day I went and got estrogen, and just, it's like a thing you put on every day.
Yeah.
And testosterone, I wasn't even using that much. I was just using like a dose every few days. But it was too intense. Like it was sensory overload thing.
Right.
Yeah, so, but I didn't have much awareness of my sensoriness back then as well. So it's hard to tell. But then estrogen wasn't like a magic, like, oh, this is it. It has not felt like that. It's felt more like a challenge. There's definitely challenging elements to it.
Like, do you feel extra sensitive?
Yeah. The sensory sensitivity was turned up.
Yeah.
And the emotional regulation has been difficult.
Yeah.
To, like, just going into the city and having all the sounds around, and just that energy of everybody going, just makes me go, and I don't know how much estrogen is affecting it, or if I was always like that.
Yeah.
But it was great. It is very good, and it does feel right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I'm physically slowly looking different, I think, and like want that.
Yay!
So it feels nice about that, and then you try and change your voice, and then there's times with estrogen where it feels really nice, and there's new feelings that I've never felt before on testosterone, like oh my god, what's this feeling? Like, particularly like in like intimate kind of ways as well.
Oh, beautiful!
Which is really nice.
That's
and the estrogen
so
brings that out.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Testosterone is very like.
Yeah. Oh my god, isn't it crazy?
And I don't know what the hormone is, or what is like the expectation, societal expectation, or what's doing what.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to tell. I know because I was on estrogen for a little bit, like for maybe 3 years when I was like 17 to 20. And I also felt like the sensitivity turned up a lot.
Right.
Very just like extra sensitive, but I was also a bit of a chaotic person back then. But also like my tits were just like swollen and sore all the time. I could not fucking I couldn't even do this. I couldn't I would be like, ow, it's so sore and so swollen. So that's one thing I'm like kind of like a little bit scared about, like the titty thing about taking it again.
Okay, it stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah.
That does happen,
Yeah.
though.
You hope it does happen?
I heard it does.
Oh, you heard? Oh, I thought you said you hope it does happen. I'm like, they do get swollen.
I hope that they get larger.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I was on a pretty high dose as well.
Oh, that would do it. Yeah, I'm only on like smallish dose.
Yeah.
And I found it even hard to go like just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And squeeze it out to 2 doses instead of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's calming down. It's just not too bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have brittle, frail bones as well?
I think that you don't hear that question much. Yes.
Yay!
I've got
Not too hard. We might crack something.
I got my first bone test in 2018, I think. Oh, ages ago, and they were in the grey zone, like osteopedia.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And they haven't got any better.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, estrogen will help. Hopefully. Yeah.
I've heard mixed things from doctors.
Oh,
Some of them are like, estrogen might help, it might make it worse.
Oh, great.
Of course.
Wow.
You all say that, doctors.
Oh my God. So I had hollow bones when I was a kid. My first bone density scan, and like I went in there and I was like 16 and they were like, what the fuck are you doing in here? Like, you 16-year-old? Like, usually it's for people who are really old. And yeah, my bones were like fucking hollow. They were like see-through. And then I got on estrogen and all of a sudden I was also, because I had like huge tits now, I was like nearly 10 kilos heavier, but it was because my bones were dense now when I was on estrogen, like super dense. Yeah.
Really?
But then they went back to being shit after I stopped taking them. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully it does help.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a little bit unnerving. It always just makes you feel like you're on the edge of breaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing more like you can just do weights.
Exactly.
Yeah. That stuff. I wasn't doing much of that when I got my tits.
Me too. Yeah.
Impact sports.
Yeah, I'm doing like lots of Pilates now.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think that's helping. Like, but my most recent scan that I literally just got done, everything was pretty all right except my back was like in the osteopedia, like, and I was just like, oh my God. And everyone's like, you need to do more like back strengthening and core strengthening exercises. I'm like, oh, fuck, all right. But it makes sense because my back gets so sore all the time. And like sometimes like if I'm sitting down for too long or like if I sleep for too long or something, my back gets so fucking painful. And now I know why.
What's the bones? Like the spine?
The spine, my spine. No, my spine. Yeah, my spine is brittle. Don't snap me. I'll die. But yeah, let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
So, how did the Southern Lights come along? And I'm also keen for you to just talk about how the name Southern Lights came, how you fell into that project, your whole musical story, and also your fascination with ships and boats.
So it started with just that just dream of wanting to make a band, and then after uni being like, I still don't have a band, and like I didn't know. I have a problem with like seeing these goals in a like long-term way. It's either like, no, it's just you just do it. I can't see like, no, you got to find this person and that person, do a little bit every day. It just does not compute for me. And so that's why it took so long, I think, for it to come together, maybe. But I've had a really like my good best friend from uni, so someone from uni, my bass player, he's still my bass player, so he's been real good in terms of finding people to join the band. So I had a lot of songs written that I was like in my room writing tons of lyrics. I got lyrics for days, but actually turning them into songs was a bit more rare. It was more just like snippets.
Mm-hmm.
So between like 11 to 2018, where there's like a bunch of songs for there that I recorded into an EP. So the first EP that I did, which is just the biggest like tapestry of different genres on one EP. It does not have its own. It's even called like Somewhere Near. It's like, this is almost what I want to sound like. So I was a bit, and that was in the same period where I was feeling quite lost, and I was like, the Intersex stuff was coming out, and I was feeling so like, I don't know what to do about the music stuff, but I was writing in the background, and a lot of my songwriting is based in imagery, kind of daydreaming, and stories. So I was writing lots of lyrics, and I had lots of songs, which come in handy now. So after lockdown, like just before lockdown, I had the band like ready to go, and we had like a gig booked. So at lockdown, it was like, fuck.
It was fucking annoying.
The wait was agonizing, and then we had another gig booked, and a second lockdown happened, and I also got injured, and it was like, it's like the world was pushing back. I was like, no, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But then finally, in the last 2 years, I'm still working on like getting all the members of the band, but we've recorded a song last year, and that was just like the most surreal experience, writing that song and recording it, because it was written in a time of like stress in a shitty lockdown house, in a share house, and like it's about boats, and boats are like a very daydreamy thing, and particularly in this moment I was fascinated by people that had sailed around the world alone, and I'm often fascinated about stories of people not just sailing, but like that guy that got trapped under a rock and survived that story, like 127 hours. Solo people in nature are doing something really big.
Yeah.
I never quite understood why, but that's a big theme in a lot of my music.
Wow.
And I think it's just because they're doing something like life-changing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was looking for and looking for. So I think that's why. So the boat stuff, this song about sailing and about around the world sailing, I just saw a documentary and about a round the world sailor who's 15, and after I watched it, I was like, I want to get out there, I want to get on the water, I want to see nature. I was wanting nature and more experiences in nature, but it's so cooped up. So I wrote that song, and the song is pretty, the meaning of it, I know what the meaning is. It's a little harder to explain the meaning to other people. But I wrote it, and it had a really fun riff. And then when I took it to my band, they were like, "Ooh, this one's good. Yeah, let's do this one." And it just had a feeling.
It's a really good riff.
I
love that song.
An excitingness to it that my other music hadn't had yet. So there was that. And then when we recorded it, it was surreal because it was in a studio with a producer who knew exactly what to do with it, to take it apart. And then when we recorded the vocals, I had all this like imagery in my head when I was singing it about like, water, and it at the time like was in this world of insomnia, so this is the biggest release moment from that, recording it.
Wow.
Do
you find that singing can be so emotional that I guess I'm saying like depending on how you're feeling, like your voice could sound like completely different.
Like tone?
Yeah.
Why?
Just like when you're like feeling something, it can just come out in this way that you're like, whoa.
Yeah, well in this setting I was pushed further by the producer who was like, can you do it with like almost like a director in a play, being like, can you do this section with less oomph or more like this dreamy breathiness, and then one other section like really go hard at it.
Yeah.
Because I find when I sing just out and about by myself and then record it, you can always overemphasize when you sing, and it doesn't really come across as overemphasizing.
Yeah. But you feel like when you were envisioning this thing, like all of this imagery when you were singing, do you feel like that was helping you tell the story?
Oh, yeah. So the experience was the first day I told the producer really wanted to know about the story, and we really wanted that side of it, which was so good. And then we rearranged the song structure and changed actually a lot about it, which usually I would be like, don't touch my song, but in this case I was like, you can touch it, it's not perfect. And it was good. So when we actually did it the second day where we recorded everything, it's just that feeling of like the vocal takes were really easy to do. Like I was in this flow moment.
Love that.
He was saying do that, and I just did it like that, exactly the way that he wanted it. I just knew what it should sound like.
Oh, amazing.
And that was really refreshing, very satisfying. Yeah, and then we did the music video for it too. So another dream thing where I reached out, I had a lot of luck emailing people, just seeing if they wanted to help me with the project, and that worked with the music video. So I met somebody through someone else's video and was like, do you want to help me with this project? And she was on board, and they knew all these people that in the film uni. So a lot of luck and a lot of people that were keen for the project. So when we made the music video, I feel like I wasn't doing it. Like I've made stuff before this videos where I had to plan every element and freak out about everything. But in this, I wasn't. I was like, I'm happy to just show up.
Yeah.
And I think you've got it. I think we've got it. Yeah.
And it turned out so good.
Yeah.
Did it turn out pretty much exactly how you kind of envisioned that song?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, for the budget and for the...
Yeah.
It was just a studio in Abbotsford. And it doesn't... If you go in there, it doesn't look like a ship.
Yeah.
Like a saloon or like an old room. So even just for that, but like I could kind of envision really big, and then I think the envisionment that I had of it translated to the end result, and also like contacting the person that the song's about, so the sailor, and asking her, can we have some of the footage? Just all these big asks of people and say maybe they'll say yes, and then they do. So that was a big part, I think, the draw for people to help with.
Yeah. And so she heard the song and liked the song and everything?
I think so. I didn't get heaps of feedback from her.
Oh, okay.
I got likes, like this post, but she was like, yeah, go for it. And it was cute. Yeah.
No, that's lovely.
I can imagine it might be a bit weird.
I mean, flattering though.
Yeah, it could be flattering too.
But also, I mean, I guess she's kind of like, you know, low-key famous for that. So I'm sure like a lot of people, you know, she's used to people reaching out to her and asking about it or stuff like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. And so I wanted to ask, do you feel, because I know you mentioned that you've written this song recently about in your intersex life and your identity and exploring that. Do you feel, other than that, but also about that, we can talk more about that, does your intersex variation life, like your life experience being intersex, come out through your music very often?
I think it comes out a lot in the themes, songwriting themes. So like, and without even my awareness of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the earlier songs have a theme of like feeling misunderstood, feeling kind of isolated a bit, and listening to them, they're a little painful to listen to because I'm like, it didn't feel great. So it was coming out through that in that moment, but also like a sense of wonder from it. Like now that I'm more embracing it more in the community, it's helping with like it's the way I'm seeing myself in this new way, and like very open to things and very open to maybe I could be this, maybe I could be femme, maybe I could be whatever. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And so that's coming across in music in like a experimental way, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of.
No rules. You can do whatever you want.
Sort of. Yeah, but just themes wise. Like, we can talk more about that particular song.
Yeah.
Should I just talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go. Let's dive in.
Well, the song's called Untangling, and it was like written from the title. So I just had this word, and I was like, damn, that's a good word, and it embodied a lot in it. And then one day they started writing it just by the first lines, just like, how do you write a song about untangling?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that's a good first line. And then after that,
Yes.
everything just moved.
Oh,
And
perfect.
it's the same that flow where like the song just comes out with effort, but not heaps of effort.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes through like story of feeling misunderstood, and then the chorus is like, this is my untangling, and there's a sense of empowerment in it. And a lot of me, like when I sing it now, and the times that I've sung it live, it's been bittersweet. Like sometimes really good, but sometimes, like at a crowded gig I did recently, it was too intense because there's a lot of like pain in it as well, and having a room of eyes looking at you, and you're not sure whether they're understanding or like,
yes,
I don't know about it. Yeah, so there's that side of it, but there's exciting stuff with this song. So I reached out to a different producer.
Nice.
Just by looking at an album at home, like one of my favorite albums, going, okay, who did that? This guy. And then emailing him.
Oh my God.
He said yes.
Oh my God,
And I was
awesome.
like, what? So the emailing thing.
Yeah, you just... Shy bands getting out. That's what they say in the northeast of England.
What?
Shy bands getting out.
Shy bands.
Yeah, like shy kids get nothing.
Oh, shy bands get out.
Shy bands getting out.
Getting out. It's Gaelic?
Well, it's Geordie, so
right.
it's technically another language.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah. You gotta, if they say no, then try someone else. Yeah, but it's a bit wait and see with that. Because I've gone to this studio already.
You've gone already?
I went to a studio that was on top of a building in the city, and it was like surreal.
Wow.
Just to talk about it and talk ideas about it. So
whoa.
it's
So it's like coming into fruition.
Yeah, it's feeling kind of like...
Is it just for the single, or is it for an EP, or is it
just
for... Okay, yeah. Cool.
I'm working with somebody else for 2 other songs that are less about being intersex, and a whole different experience, I think, but it's good. Yeah, so the other stuff is all that other music I've written over the years. There's so much I want to record. It's just very expensive.
Oh, yes.
And then I'm in this area of like trying to find what my sound is, and a sound that works with both this piano folkiness and a much more rocky, grungy 90s thing.
Yeah.
Smashing them together like indie. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's good. It's coming
Awesome.
together. Yeah.
And do you think you'll do a music video for this one?
Oh, I spent my budget on that last one.
Yeah.
Maybe, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that one. This one doesn't have quite as much of a
thematic,
strong
visual.
thematic vision as the last one, but it's still good. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you kind of envision or hope for the future of the intersex community?
Just to be seen more.
Oh, yeah.
And like for people's stories to get out there, because you're still in this sort of, I have the experience and I've heard it from others where you explain it to people and it's such a exhausting thing, explaining a story all the time and people not understanding it and all of that. So I think hearing other stories and getting stories out there through social media. Like there's a lot of people on social media that I've following from that, but also just like lots of different mediums, like books or there's a filmmaker I really like,
River Gallo. Yeah. Have you seen Pony Boy?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Oh my God, I want to see. I don't think it's out yet, but I can't wait for it to be out.
Yeah.
It's like a crime movie, but starring an intersex person. I'm like, wow, that's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw them on that Everybody documentary.
Yes.
I just cried.
Oh, me
that.
too. Me too. From the very first like montage scene of like the popping of the gender reveal, I'm just like crying.
Yeah, but them particularly in that, I was like, oh, they're so pretty, but so non-binary in this so lovely way. And I was like, that's kind of what I'm aspiring towards.
Oh my goodness.
It's sort of like looking pretty, but you not necessarily have the non-binariness, which is part of, I don't know if it's like, that's kind of the confusion a bit with me is whether intersex, because separating it into sex and gender, which is what it is different. But in my case, it's like, how are they linked? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You get scared to ask them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it can definitely be scary.
Yeah, but it's good. Try another one. You just also don't see much representation of intersex people in like in a TV show or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Yes, definitely needs more of that.
Just out and about. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you wish people knew about intersex?
I've kind of already said it.
Yeah, I guess so.
They exist.
Yeah, that we're here. Not all of us are queer.
No, they're not
But
queers.
a lot of us are.
Yeah. Even just like the science behind it, I think it's really fascinating. I think that could be, people could know more about that. Which is what I will try to do.
Yeah,
there are so many different variations, and it's like, it's in nature, like that nature is not binary.
Oh, yes.
I love that motto, and I'm like, yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like if you look at a tree, like the end of the song that I wrote, there's the final verse of it is about like how I sort of look at the patterns in nature and how like the tree is all squiggly and it grows in random, like in its own way. It's not binary, and it's like it's right there. The patterns are. It's not like they're telling us to be this way or that way. It's quite freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's organic.
Yes. All that. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, any other final things you want to say? Where can everyone find you, first of all?
Sure, yeah. Max Aurora Music is the Instagram account, and then I'm going to make a second account soon for the band so I can do more intersex stuff on the other one.
Yeah.
But just go to Max Aurora Music.
Yeah.
And we'll look up Max Aurora and the Southern Lights.
Max Aurora and the Southern Lights. Yes. That's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere where you get things.
Deezer.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. So good to chat.
Yay!